the political side, we discussed trade and investment, we discussed security and defense, democracy, governance, human rights, rule of law, issues on migration. They also came under discussion. I was pleasantly surprised when I looked at the framework of the new engagement plan that has been drawn and the agenda of PTI. There is so much of similarity on the way the Europeans think and what we intend to do as a government to help alleviate our people from poverty and fix institutions and eradicate corruption and have across-the-board accountability. So it's all so much in sync with the way we, as a government and as people, are thinking. That's very encouraging. But the most interesting and the most encouraging piece of news is that after exchange of so many drafts and lots of squabbling, we have finally agreed. Pakistan and the European Union have finally agreed on a new strategic engagement plan. And that's a real plus from the discussions we've had. Hopefully, once the procedures are fulfilled on the European side, I would be more than happy to hop onto the plane and go to Brussels and sign with you, ma'am, the new Pakistan-EU strategic engagement plan. This, I think, is laying the architecture for a future, a bright future between Pakistan and the European Union. There are lots of Pakistanis spread all over Europe, contributing to socio-economic development of your member states. Very useful Pakistanis, contributing a lot to us through their remittances. So we have a bridge between us that is generating goodwill, and we can build on that further. We also, in our discussions, I shared with the High Representative Pakistan's point of view and the steps that we have taken vis-a-vis FATF, how we intend to fulfill our obligations and political commitments to the international community. I also shared with her the evolution of the National Action Plan and how the Peshawar tragic incident or the watershed in the way people in Pakistan dealt with terrorism and extremism, and what the Pakistan Armed Forces have done in cleansing the tribal belt, and the new political consensus that has evolved. We also had a good discussion on the status of INGOs, the perception and the reality, and I shared with the High Representative what initiatives we had taken, and some of the anxieties, I hope, after the discussion we've had, would settle down, and they would feel more comfortable in working in Pakistan. I also shared with her how German political foundations, through negotiations and talks, have now been incorporated and have been registered, and how 75 of INGOs are already registered and are working in Pakistan, and we are working on others as well. And lastly, we had a very good discussion, and we shared and compared notes on Afghanistan. As you know, the European Union has been a great contributor to Afghanistan's reform and reconstruction agenda. They also, like us, have a stake in peace and stability in Afghanistan. So we shared Pakistan's perspective Pakistan's role of facilitation in the peace and reconciliation process, and where we stand on that at the time. I also gave her an overview of our government's thinking vis-a-vis our eastern neighbor, that's India. How open we were, how open we are in engaging with them to resolve our outstanding issues through a sustained dialogue, because that's the only sensible way forward, as we have consistently held this view that there is no military solution to Afghanistan, and the only way forward is a negotiated political settlement. We are both convinced there is no solution to India and Pakistan but to talk and resolve issues through negotiations. Can two atomic neighbors even think of going to war? It's madness. And Pakistan has demonstrated restraint, a measured response, and immediately after being aggressed upon, the steps we took to de-escalate. The world is not oblivious of the steps we have taken, the release of the captured pilot, immediate release of the captured pilot, the unilateral decision to send our High Commissioner back to Delhi, and the decision to re-establish the hotline between the military directorates. These are all steps towards de-escalation. I also shared with her the desire of this government to open up on liberalization of visas, how we want to open up this country to foreigners, invite them to Pakistan, and the Qatar corridor. The impact that initiative is going to have on building confidence between two neighbors was also discussed. We also discussed Iran, and as you know, the Europeans and the European Union have a somewhat different perspective from the US on Iran. So we discussed the Iranian situation and how important Iran is for Pakistan, being our neighbor, and how important it is to achieve peace and stability in Afghanistan. So ma'am, thank you for coming. I wish you could spend more time, but I hope there'll be more opportunities of interacting with you. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you very much for inviting and for receiving me with such a warm welcome and such a productive discussion we've had this morning. I am very pleased to be in Islamabad. It's the first time I visit here, and I am glad to be here for this. That is the fourth session of the strategic dialogue between Pakistan and the European Union, but an exceptional one, because as you said, we agreed today our new strategic engagement plan that gives us an even more solid foundation for our partnership, expands the areas of cooperation, puts no limits in terms of timing, and I'm sure will constitute, as you said, a sound architecture for EU-Pakistan relations and cooperation in the years to come. So I'm very much looking forward to welcoming you in Brussels for the signature of this agreement that we have finalized today. As you said, we had very fruitful discussions on a variety of topics. For the sake of time, I would not touch upon them all. I would just highlight a couple of them. One is how important our partnership is for both. Let me mention, for instance, our cooperation on the priorities that are also, as you mentioned, the priorities of your government, poverty alleviation, but also investment in human capital, in education, in good governance, in the fight against corruption, and how much we can work together to this effect. Trade, for instance, with the European Union has doubled from Pakistan in the last few years. The European Union is now the first export market for Pakistan. And this is also thanks to the preferential access to the European Union's market that Pakistan is enjoying since 2014. And since it is enjoying this preferential access to our market, it's exactly linked to that the exports made by Pakistan to the European Union have doubled. This is linked to the implementation of a certain number of international conventions. It's what we call the Generalized Scheme of Preferences Plus, and we've also discussed about the implementation of these international conventions that are namely linked to the promotion of human rights and also freedom of religion and belief, freedom of expression, the situation of women and the role of civil society in Pakistan. We've had good discussion, and I've noticed the strong political commitment of the minister and his government to be very consistent on these values and push forward this agenda that is so important for your government. We have a very important partnership on many different fields, including, as you said, migration. We have a readmission agreement in place between Pakistan and the European Union. We agreed to intensify our common work to implement it efficiently, but also to manage together the migratory flows, but also to support Pakistan in its very generous hosting of so many Afghan refugees. We know it's a challenge, and you know that you can count on us to support your country in this respect. This brings me to one of the most relevant issues we have debated today, with a good convergence, I believe, our common support to the current Afghan peace talks, and we have discussed ways in which the European Union and Pakistan can effectively encourage and accompany a process of talks that could eventually lead to peace in Afghanistan that is so important both for Pakistan but also for the European Union. Let me also mention, before I conclude, again, it would be too long to mention all the issues we have discussed, the fact that we have appreciated the fact that tensions with India after the recent events in February have de-escalated. The minister informed me about the steps taken to address the challenge of terrorist activities, and I have expressed to him all our support in trying to make this crackdown on militant and terrorist groups as effective as possible for the sake of regional security and stability, but also for the sake of Pakistan itself. Pakistan knows that it can count on the European Union to support the country in this process. I would like to end on a sad note. I would like to express my condolences and my sympathy, first of all, to those who are suffering from the severe drought that is affecting large parts of southern Pakistan, but also to the families of the victims of the terrorist attack that took place in New Zealand some 10 days ago. I know that 9 of the victims were of Pakistan nationality, and as we expressed our full solidarity and sympathy with the authorities of New Zealand, I want to express our condolences and sympathy to the families of the victims, and also to the Pakistani authorities for this loss, because for us it has been a terrible terrorist attack. Every time that a place of worship is attacked anywhere in the world, no matter what kind of religion it is, it's an attack against all of us. So we are in full solidarity in this. Thank you very much.
I would like to mention one point which slipped my mind, and that is the point of Islamophobia. I mentioned to Mogherini that the rising trend of Islamophobia is a great concern to me and should be a great concern to you, you know, because you have lots and lots of Muslims spread all over Europe. And I shared with her the sentiment of the special meeting convened in Istanbul of OIC, and also the leadership shown by the Prime Minister of New Zealand in tackling this very sensitive issue, leading from the front and telling the world that there is a different way of dealing with this. You know, how societies can gel together, how different cultures, ethnicities, and religions can live in peace. Christchurch has shown it's tragic. It's tragic. We lost 9 Pakistanis there. We mourn them. Yet it has shown to the world that how societies and leaders with a vision can overcome difficulties.
Thank you very much, Excellencies. We have time for 2 quick questions. Please identify yourself and your institution.
Hello, this is Amber Shamsi from Associated Press of Pakistan. Sir, my question is from you. What is the current status of Pakistan-EU trade relationship? And also, what steps do you think Pakistan can take to increase the relationship between Pakistan and EU member countries? Thank you.
As the High Representative mentioned, that because of the GSP Plus concession, that they were magnanimous in giving to Pakistan, our trade has doubled from 2013. And we, in fact, have not been able to utilize the facility to its maximum because of our, you know, domestic issues, and we did not have enough of an exportable surplus to throw up. But this government is very keen to enhance its exports and to fix the trade deficit. This facility is available to Pakistan till 2023, and the government lasts till 2023. The term lasts till 2023. So we are going to ensure that we utilize that facility to its maximum and increase as many exports and generate as many jobs as we can for Pakistanis, the youth of this country that needs employment. So trade is moving in the right direction, but there's a lot of potential. And with other EU member countries, our trade is picking up. Our investments are picking up. I would mention 2 very important European companies, Renault and Volkswagen, that have taken a major decision for major investments in Pakistan. And there are many more to follow.
One last question, please.
Ma'am, this is Asadi, and my question is regarding the OIC's recent decision to request the special session of UN General Assembly regarding Islamophobia. What would be EU's position on this?
First of all, I want to fully share the words that the Minister said about the fact that the rise of Islamophobia is a threat for us all. It's a threat not only for Muslims, but also for our societies. Because the strength of our societies lies in their diversity, and whoever attacks the diversity of our societies attacks the entire society, not just one segment of it. This is why for the European Union institutions, for me personally, for all our member states, it is a priority to make sure that Islamophobia doesn't find any place in the European Union. This is why I fully share your words about the leadership shown by the Prime Minister of New Zealand in addressing the terrorist attack that took place 10 days ago there. This is why the European Union was represented at the last meeting of the OIC to tackle Islamophobia. And obviously, we are more than willing to cooperate with our partners, not only in the OIC, but also in the UN framework, to make sure that not only Islamophobia, but any kind of attacks on anybody, especially on the basis of his or her religion or belief or non-religion, finds no place in our world. So we will be consistent in working together with single countries, with the OIC, in the UN framework, to make sure that this doesn't happen, as well as to make sure that no person, no man, no women can be discriminated against or under attack for anything that is related to its identity, his or her identity, his or her religion or belief, or his or her background of any kind. This is the nature of the European Union identity. This is our DNA, and we will do our best together with our partners in the world to make sure that these values are protected in the world.
That would be all. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. So if you could shake hands here.
Yeah.
Sure.